Guys, now we're going to do section 1.2, talking through the difference between micro and macroeconomics. So, at the heart of everything is going to be economics, which is the study of how humans satisfy their unlimited wants with their limited resources. So, that's what economics is, and then we have different branches based off of that. So, over here we have micro, over here we have macro. So just like the name says, right, micro, right, where we're looking at something very small, that's what we're going to do with micro. So when we're talking about microeconomics, what we're doing is we're looking at how individuals make choices, how individual businesses make choices, how small markets, right? So basically, if you go to the HEB or the grocery store and you're trying to make a decision about how much stuff you need to buy, that's going to be a microeconomics decision. When you're trying to deal with your local government, right, on trying to figure out these little decisions, right, on maybe going to the park, or maybe you're trying to send your kid to school, or maybe those little decisions that are happening in your community, that's more of a microeconomics term. So it's going to be focusing on the actions of individual agents within the economy, like the households, the workers, and the businesses. So anything such as like how much should a worker be paid, how much should a teacher be paid, right? How much profits are businesses going to be making? All of those little decisions that are being made, that's going to be microeconomics. Macroeconomics is going to take a step back and it's going to look at the entire economy at the same time. So it's going to be focusing on much more broad issues such as growth, unemployment, inflation, and trade balance. So all of these terms are going to be looking at how can the economy grow, how many people in the economy don't have a job, all right, or what are the prices and how are they changing throughout the economy, right? And then also the trade balance. This is a major macroeconomic term here because you're dealing with different countries, right? So basically you're trading with other countries. So obviously it's going to be a macroeconomic level decision there, because what you're doing is you're trying to satisfy your country's wants, right? But you have limited resources, and what you could do is you can go to another country, right? So that is where macroeconomics is going to come into play. Some key terms that we're also going to do during like for like macroeconomics would be for like monetary policy and fiscal policy. So these are going to be more of those government decisions where they are trying to regulate the economy as a whole. All right, so that's the main difference there between microeconomics and macroeconomics. The main thing to ask yourself when you're trying to look at the difference between the two is this a very specific market or person or decision, right? Like how specific is it? Are we looking at the price of hot dogs, sales tax on cigarettes? Are we trying to look at the wage rate for IT workers, right? So something very specific like that. Or are we looking at something like the GDP of the US, the unemployment of the US, right? So much more broad issues, that would be macro. So that's the main difference between the two. We'll now move on to section 1.3, okay?